In this video, I'm going to show you the best places to visit in the Northern Territory. The area of the Northern Territory I'm going to show you is also called the Top End, which is basically from Katherine all the way up to Darwin. There's some incredible national parks. I'll put a link to the Northern Territory website below, which runs through a really good itinerary. In this video, I'll show you the national parks we visited. I'll share an epic free camp. So keep watching to the end of the video because you don't want to miss anywhere on this epic trip. We were doing our lap clockwise, so we came from Western Australia and we crossed the border into Northern Territory, and the first place we went to was Katherine. Katherine is a large town in the Northern Territory. There is great supermarkets there. There's also a very famous hot springs there, which you'll need to check out. It's called Katherine Hot Springs. It's free to enter, which is unbelievable. Especially having visited many places in Australia, it's great that this is still free. The water's pretty warm. I would highly recommend a flotation device, whether that's a pool noodle. They were super popular. We had inflatable pineapples, but yeah, they're really fun to blow up and then you can float down the streams. Above Katherine, there is an epic free camp called Robin Falls. It's a bit of a drive from Katherine, but it's a great place to stop before you go to the national parks. The first national park I would highly recommend would be Litchfield National Park. This was my personal favourite place in the Northern Territory. We spent a few days here, but I wish we had like a week here because it is epic. Lots of places to visit. I'll put some names up on the screen of the places which we went to, but again, flotation device would be amazing. Just be careful of croc warnings and make sure you read the signs. If it's closed, obviously don't go in there because crocodiles are a thing in the Northern Territory and other parts of Australia, but especially in the north. Another place which is absolutely epic is Berry Springs. So this is as you're leaving Litchfield on your way to Darwin. Stop here, you can float down the hot springs. The water's really, really warm. And if you start at the waterfall end and float down, it's really fun. And then you end up in this massive pool. It can be quite popular and quite busy, but it is a really, really great place to visit and definitely one to add to your list. Then you have the capital city of the Northern Territory, which is Darwin. This really surprised us. I wasn't sure what to expect from Darwin, but we really, really enjoyed it. Absolutely beautiful city, really, really tidy, and there's so much to kind of see and do there. I'd highly recommend taking a walk along the waterfront. There you have an inflatable, I guess, playground in the middle of the harbour. You also have a beach there, and yeah, just great vibes, lots to do. We also went to the World War II oil storage tunnels, which was really fascinating history and definitely worth doing if you're going to the area. It's not too expensive, and yeah, it's great to see the history and yeah, just to really learn about what actually happened in Darwin during the wars. If you are going to the Northern Territory, you may have heard of the Crocodile Tours. The Adelaide River is known for having a lot of saltwater crocodiles, which are very dangerous. So it is a bit intimidating going out on a boat to see these wonderful creatures, but they do give you really good safety briefing and you do feel safe. But yeah, they've been there since the dinosaurs, they're prehistoric. Absolutely amazing to see. I've always wanted to do this, to see them in the wild. If you don't want to pay for a tour, I've got a recommendation later on in the video, so make sure you keep watching if you don't want to pay the tour. Next up, we have Kakadu National Park, probably the most famous park in the Northern Territory, if not in Australia. In the national park, there are lots of different areas. First place we went to was called Ubir, which had some amazing rock art. And yeah, you learn all about the history and what the rock arts are about and the stories behind them, which I found really fascinating. It's a great place to go for a bit of a hike and learn about the history and culture. Some incredible views at the top. If you don't want to pay for a croc tour, Cahill's Crossing is a really good place to go to potentially see crocodiles. Every video I've seen online, there's crocodiles there, so you'll stand a very good chance. We just stayed on the bank, but high up. There's a really great viewing platform. We also went to some other really great places in Kakadu. My top tip would be to visit the Tourist Information Centre. That way you know what's open, what's closed. Unfortunately, a lot of the southern parts of the national park were closed, like Jim Jim Falls and those sorts of places. That's because of the wet season in the Northern Territory. So the wet season causes a lot of damage, unfortunately, and so stuff needs to be closed so it can be repaired. So if you are planning a trip there, if you go straight after the wet season, stuff's most likely to be closed, like it was for us. The longer you leave it, the people who work at the national park have had a chance to repair it. So yeah, just something, a top tip there really. Moving out of the national park, you go back through Katherine. We actually did the springs on our way back down. Another incredible springs is Bitter Springs. This is just, yeah, one of those bucket list places. The water was really warm and almost to a point where you couldn't really cool down because it was really hot outside and hot in the water. Yeah, just something to bear in mind there. Also, it's not salt water, it's fresh water. So if you're not the strongest swimmer, you also don't have any buoyancy from the salt. So make sure you bring some sort of flotation device. Yeah, we bought our pineapples once again, our inflatable pineapples, they're really fun. But at Bitter Springs, the water's so clear. I went back the next morning with my snorkeling gear, managed to see some turtles, and just it was really fun just to swim around. I would highly recommend going very early in the morning if you want to escape the crowds, because we went at lunchtime or in the afternoon at one day. The next morning we went first thing. It was so much better with less people, and there's a caravan park really near there, which is really reasonably priced, and I highly recommend it. So that wraps up a very quick video on the Northern Territory. Hope you found it helpful. I didn't find too many of these videos online when I was doing my preparation, so yeah, hope this helps you. If you could give the video a thumbs up and subscribe, that'd be amazing. And leave a comment below if you have any other recommendations on where to go in the Northern Territory. I know it's a massive state and I'm only covering the top end and we didn't get to see everything, but yeah, leave a comment below and I'll see you in the next video.